This always takes just a second, so give me one moment.
We're good to go. It showed on my end that we're live streaming.
Oh, I'm sorry, it did not confirm it with me. That's fine. Okay, Judge Parker.
All right, great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the October 23rd, 2025 meeting for the North Carolina State Bar Board of Continuing Legal Education. The time is now 12:34 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. We will go ahead and begin with our conflict of interest statement that states that members of the board are hereby advised of their duty under the State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflict, and are instructed to refrain from participating in any matter coming before this board with respect to which there is a conflict of interest or appearance of conflict. All right, we will now move on to the agenda to approve the May 30th, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Has everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Okay. All right, is there a motion?
I move to approve.
All right. Motion by Paul, second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Tiffany, seconded. So all in favor of the approval of the minutes?
Aye.
All right, looks like the ayes have it. I'm assuming nobody is objecting. Okay, great. All right, so the meeting minutes have been approved. All right, now looking at reviewing and approving the CLE statements ending September 30th, 2025. So is that Nicole?
Yes, so the main thing is that we are continuing to hold $1 million just to make sure that we have sufficient funds to support the program until we know at the end of 2027 the impact of the flat $25 fee for CLE fees will have on our program. So if you can see there how much money we have, how much money we're spending. And so we're sitting at $1,748,841.
How does it look to you all so far? Is it concerning or is it higher, lower?
No, we've met with Jaya, who was our controller here at the State Bar, and we're okay. There's no reason for concern at this time.
Okay, very good. Looks like the late fees are coming in much higher.
That is because we made a concerted effort to collect fees that have been outstanding for multiple years. So we contacted all of those lawyers. They were on the suspension list and we sent out suspension orders. That's all been completed. And so we've collected a lot more in late compliance fees, but it's because for fees that had been carried over from year to year to year to year. So it's inflated right now. So you shouldn't expect to see that again next year. We should be starting at like ground zero with regard to late fees. There are still a couple of lawyers who have not paid. So that's about like what, $5,000. You can see that on the first page. CLE account receivable, $5,600 is what we're still looking for some outstanding fees. But Lauren and her team did a really good job of going back and cleaning up the old fees, and Jaya was very happy with us.
And then what about the convenience fee being lower?
So that is I think that's the fee for credit card payments.
Okay.
So when lawyers make credit card payments, so it just depends on how many lawyers pay by credit card. And so Jaya said we should budget for 42,000, but so far we've only collected that 29,000.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, may I inquire, what's the allowance for doubtful account?
So I had to ask that question too, Hyde. So that is to extra money that is put into the account for fees that are owed by lawyers who have not paid their late fees or late compliance fees.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Are there any other questions? All right, do we need to approve this budget or is this just us looking at it?
I think that's just you looking at it because this is not the budget. This is just to let you know what our numbers look as of September 30th.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move forward to the update regarding suspension process for prior year CLE compliance.
Yeah, so Nicole somewhat already touched on this a little bit because that is tied up with our larger amount of revenues related to the late compliance fees, especially. But as y'all know, we mentioned this back at the retreat that the CLE department has been working to clean up a lot of outstanding compliance issues as well as fees since the beginning of this year, while also trying to establish the schedule and the plan for all years moving forwards as it aligns with the rules. So I'm very happy to say that we have resolved all previous year our compliance issues. So anything that was outstanding that was not pursued from prior to the rule change, that's been resolved now with either compliance or suspension. We have basically pursued all of the outstanding fees. At the October council meeting here next week, there will be a list of people that have outstanding fees that we ask approval for suspension. Like I said, this is from before the rule change predominantly and through 2024. So once that is done, we expect to have all of this cleaned up by around the beginning of the year, so that either people are in compliance and in good standing or they have been administratively suspended. And what this means for going forwards is every year annually, we'll start the year, the compliance date for the CLE year for half of the group that has their 2-year period ending that year. So like, for instance, February of 2026, they will have their compliance date. We will put in all of the hours for their time during the month of March. We'll be able to identify who needs late fees for late compliance as soon as possible into March as we can. And then the late fees will be added, and we will be on track to send all of the people that are out of compliance either for fees from the year that we're directly discussing. There will not be any further fees that are left out there, or for hours at the April meeting for suspensions to be sent out in May. So all of this will be tied up every year. Suspensions should be issued, and with the exception of service issues, things will be dealt with annually by around July every year. So the good news is that that creates a standardized practice and also helps us make projections for budget and just planning reasons. So
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for you and your team's hard work. Does anybody have any questions about that? Great. Well, whatever makes y'all's lives easier, we're here for it. And also, like you said, helps us to figure out kind of what it looks like moving forward and kind of getting that done as soon as possible. But to your point, it also streamlines your ability to do this process easier and quicker when you're starting at 0 versus all those other years. So great work.
great. Thank you.
It's always great when you have fresh eyes on something sometimes, just to see what you can do. So thank you. All right, new business. So the update to the sponsor fee schedule, title change to late program application fee.
So to provide a little bit of background for this, the fee schedule, as it was in y'all's materials, is exactly how it was done when the rules were changed. I do know, just as a note, that currently the attendance line further down the fee schedule still says 40 days. I just have not yet amended that because it doesn't take effect to the 30-day sorry, I'm admitting somebody, to the 30-day change until December the 1st. That was decided at the retreat. So that's the only reason why that is there, just because that is the current copy. I have already updated the copy that's effective December the 1st to reflect the 30-day attendance reporting change. But as far as the title change is concerned, we have not yet started charging these fees. The plan is to do them as close to starting around December as we can, but it may push into the beginning of the year. But the sponsors have been notified that the fees will be a factor that they have to consider when they're trying to comply with everything that we've asked them to do. There has been confusion, though, about this particular fee, the expedited program application fee, excuse me, as it was listed on the fee schedule. The confusion predominantly has been that if sponsors wish to pay that fee, regardless of when they wanted to submit the application, that they could pay us extra money and that we would put their application at the top of the stack. And essentially it would help them by being able to move quicker on their side. Unfortunately, that is not the intention of that. The intention of that was as a penalty if they do not meet the 40-day prior deadline to submit the applications for approval for their courses. So the idea here is if we can change the title to late program application fee, it will clearly outline what that is, that it is a penalty fee and not something to assist them, truthfully, because we do not have a way to actually expedite program applications regardless of when they're submitted. We're only able to get through them as fast as we actually can and as fast as the team can get through them. So if we can amend this before the fees are actually implemented, hopefully we can curb any extra confusion that may come from it.
How about you call it late program penalty fee?
That,
Late program application penalty fee.
if you wish, that's fine.
Whatever we can do to help. I mean, to your point, I mean, I don't want people thinking, okay, I just pay extra $50. I paid 100, boom, I'm in there. Like, and also that is still, I don't know if you want to express this, but it's still on a first come, first served basis. Like it may or may not get approved.
Right. If that is up to the board's opinion, if that's something that, however y'all would like to word it, that helps us streamline this. The late program application fee was just what was mentioned by the department. If there's a alternative that y'all would like better, that's fine. However you want to do it.
I don't have a problem with whatever y'all want to call it. I just want to be clear that this is, to your point, that this is not something to be used willy-nilly. This is not something that, because that puts a strain on y'all. That everybody just feels like, oh, extra I've got 40 days or 10 days or 5 days or 0. Like there's no, you know what I mean? Like 0 to 40 days prior to the program. I mean, do you want that to be 10 days? I mean, what do you want? What would give y'all?
It has been 40 days. I know that the 40 days is not mentioned in the rule. I'm not actually certain right off the top of my head what it says about the fee. I know that it doesn't say 40 days specifically.
So I'm saying, like, is there a point where they will not get approved because it's too late?
Not currently. That was not something that the board previously discussed on if there was a point when it would never get approved. Essentially, that was never discussed. There's no provision for that. So in execution, the way this usually works is if a sponsor currently wants to submit an application and the course has already occurred, we just have to review it as a new course. And that is what has been being done. When the fees are implemented, when we're actually able to implement those after December the 1st, in that scenario, even if the course has already happened, the way that it's currently done, without other provisions, if they wanted to submit it afterwards, they would pay the late fee and we would review it as soon as we can. But there's no, unfortunately, should that happen? No, but there's not a provision to stop that currently.
So when you say prior to the program, I mean, would that fee also apply if the program had already occurred?
Yes. So if they miss the 40 days, if they give it to us 38 days before the program, or if the program occurs and we still haven't received it, they would get the fee either way whenever they submitted the application.
Because I'm wondering that 0 to 40 days prior to the program kind of feels like it wouldn't carry over into them being late. So I just don't know if we could say any time after 40 days prior to the program or something like that.
We could amend that on the fee schedule. That's just part of the fee schedule. If you wanted to clarify that, we could do that.
What do y'all think? Paul, I saw you nodding your head.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think if you're going to amend it now, you might as well just make it clear, because if you can submit it after the program and still get credit, I think it should be clear about that. So I agree with that. But I'm neutral as to what you want to call it, whether it's a penalty or an application. It's either way, it seems. I think penalty is fine too.
Tiffany, what do you think?
Same thing. Penalty might indicate some sort of get with the program, some sort of seriousness with it so that it's paid attention. I think people might pay attention a little more to a penalty language, which might hopefully, push forward for everyone to get in line at the appropriate times.
Right. And then that might be on their budget item. Like, how much money do we have to spend on a penalty fee? Right. Like they have to say that.
Yeah.
Like,
and some people, and especially when it's say penalty versus like application fee might feel like, okay, well, but penalties feels like, people pay attention to that word, I feel like.
right. Hi, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I think the logic makes sense, call it penalty. And I think I react differently if I see penalty versus, an application fee. So we want to deter people from doing it. So I think it's actually a good idea.
So for the sake of being thorough, look at the other titles, because you have late attendance reporting fee. I mean, do you want to call that late attendance penalty? It's reporting
Right.
penalty. I'm just, people will parse this out, once they start looking at it. So just make sure that whatever we do is consistent throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, I like penalty in front of anything that's. Kate, what do you think? Because it affects you.
For us, most of the time we really do strive to have things in before that 40 days. There's one or two programs that I know are going to come in that late range, but we're going to budget for it. But I don't know if that's really helpful. But the goal again is to not be in that window. It's also a motivation for our volunteers to get agendas in on time to say, hey, we need this in because y'all want it in.
Right. And so, I mean, do you have any thoughts about penalty versus, does that kind of stand out to y'all?
It does not. I'm fine either way with it. We just know that it's going to be more expensive and we're going to budget accordingly and make sure that if we are in that window, it's as soon as it turns in as soon as possible.
All right. Serena, Addie, Robert, thoughts?
I think making the language clearer, the first part needs to be there. I actually probably think like Kate, I'm not sure if penalty, expedited, late, I'm not sure what we call it will make people comply. Because I think what we're saying is if it's in between that window, you can still file it. It's just going to cost you more. And I think that's kind of the reality of the world that we live in. People are used to paying an expedited fee when they want something quicker at the last minute or a penalty. So I don't have a vote on the language, but I think making the language clear as you started with after the 40 days or before the 40 days and, letting people know there is a time frame that we're expecting you to go in that goes with the application fee. And then if you miss that, there is another fee.
Gotcha. Makes sense. You guys have any thoughts? So I had to look this up because I have not done math in forever. And so I think this is less than 40 days. I put in the chat. I think the bigger the mouth eats, the bigger number.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to do that, Lauren, so that we're saying that it's anytime less than 40 days. That means if it's already passed, if it's, whatever, just that 0 to 40 was kind of confusing to me because it felt like if the program's already happened, then it didn't include that fee. And I was like, no, it includes that fee. Because people just, because we haven't done it yet, we don't know what the impact is going to look like. But I know that people are going to be complaining. And so just want to make it, they're not going to be happy about it because people are never happy about fees or anything else. So I would be curious. I mean, I just want to be as clear as we can be, I guess. Serena?
Judge, is it possible, in addition to the less than 40 days, to include programs that have already occurred, like to literally be explicit about that? Like the 0 to 40 days is the time from the program, right, to that 40-day window, but you actually can also get credit after the program has run. And so I don't know if that's 3 fees, which is because you put that program on without even sending in the
approval.
application. But you know, it seems like there are distinct windows of times. There's, 40 days before the program and beyond, and then program date to 39 days. And then you already had the program and you're asking me to, the committee to approve a program that you put on back in August.
I think Lauren's saying though that anything that's 40 days, anything less than 40 days, even if it's already occurred, is still $50. I think it's all the same.
But I think even if it's already occurred, might need to be clarified for people.
Do y'all have a memo that goes out? Because I know this is just a chart, but is there an additional memo that can clarify what Serena's talking about?
So I sent out a announcement of all of the things that we were implementing to the sponsors in August, I think. Excuse me, I can't remember. Time goes very quickly and I cannot remember when I sent it, but it was sent out recently. And that was where a lot of the conversation about what this fee meant, that was where a lot of it came from. I am planning on sending another notice to all of them in the next couple of weeks that identifies the procedure that we're going to take the registered sponsors applications for December, because that was not described at the time of that notice because we did not have a procedure established. I can also put in reminders about the fee schedule when I send that out.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I think highlighting that piece, that late application program, if you have done the program, that also includes that. So it includes all the things later than 40 days. And then also the program is anytime, including the program being already put on, that you will have that $50 application fee. So I think we're at the point where really the only thing that we're considering today is just the name. Is that what we're doing, Lauren, or you were just letting us know?
Yes, if this does require board approval to update the fee schedule, even with the titles and such. So any changes that you would like me to make to it, I can. I can you can approve it with the changes that have been mentioned. I can represent it at our next meeting, however you'd like to do it.
I think we can go ahead and move forward with at least that. I mean, I'm gonna leave that last part on that little part on there, the greater than 40 days, less than 40 days, whatever you want, however you want to do that. I don't think we need to get into the weeds with what that looks like. But as far as the name being late program application fee, yeah. Is there a motion to add penalty? And then if it's no, then we'll leave it where it is at the late application. Or is there a motion to leave it at the late application fee as that title without penalty?
I'll move to leave it without penalty.
Okay. Is there a second?
Only for the sake of clarity, given there's other late fees, that would be the only reason.
Understood. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed? No. All right. Then there we go. Changes the name. I'm going to have, thank you, Lauren. I'm going to have to go off script for just a second. Robert, I know that you have to leave. So before you do, we want to thank you for your years of service with us. It has been an honor to work with you and have your insight and thoughts. And so we are excited to provide you with a resolution of appreciation for Robert A. Ponton Jr. Whereas the North Carolina State Board of Continuing Legal Education desires to recognize the services of Robert A. Ponton Jr. and his contribution to the continuing legal education program of the North Carolina State Bar. And whereas as a member of the Board of Continuing Legal Education from 2022 to 2025, Robert gave unselfishly of his time and talent. And whereas as a member of the board, Robert brought insight, intelligence, and compassion to board deliberations on policy issues and appeals, thereby helping the board to make well-reasoned and fair decisions. And whereas Robert was greatly appreciated by the staff of the CLE program for the courtesy and respect that he showed to all staff members. And whereas Robert's approach to the issues before the board will be missed by the members of this board, and his dedication to the continuing legal education program will be missed by the members of the bar. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the North Carolina State Bar Board of Continuing Legal Education that the members of the board hereby express their appreciation and gratitude to Robert A. Ponton Jr. for his outstanding devotion and service to the North Carolina State Board of Continuing Legal Education. Signed this the 23rd day of October, 2025.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
I'm honored and I thank you. It's been a pleasure. As I told Lauren, it's not anything to do with the board. It's just time for a different stage in my career. And I am thinking that someone younger and needs to be on this board.
Well, once again, your selflessness, to say, hey, I see an opportunity here for someone else. And, we just thank you. I mean, especially through the last several years has been very challenging with the things and the changes. And so your insight has been phenomenal, and your legacy that you've left, we truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great.
And I'm going to leave and go get my young associate sworn in.
Oh, fantastic. Enjoy. Go do that.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So back to the agenda that I just exited out of. So let me get that pulled back up. All right. It was the, here we go, okay. When I clicked out of his, I exited out the whole thing, sorry about that. All right, the approval of special circumstances and evidence of good cause guidance.
You want me to clarify anything before we go, or?
I don't know if you and Tiffany have anything to say about it.
The only comment I have to make is that the information that is within it is strictly the examples and the situations that were discussed at the board retreat. Of course, if there's any amendments or anything, let me know.
So far from what the ones that I've received, it seems like they fit in what was agreed upon last time. Which is helpful, especially with one recent one that we have that Lauren was very kind to point out and say, yeah, that's in the is not, what is it? Not sufficient. So it seems so far to have covered everything that I have received since. So like Lauren, unless someone's thought of something additional that could be there, and it's in the materials, but arguments, what's good cause, for the special circumstances, exceptions being, member of family illness, extraordinary unexpected circumstances, but reasons such as inability to have the time to complete CLE, not receiving email communications when you're required to update the bar with your email and address, ignorance of the CLE requirements, are all not sufficient. So I don't have anything additional to add.
I'll tell you what, as chair of that committee for several years, I wish I had this.
Yeah, it's really been coming up. It's come up a lot. I mean, I imagine you got a lot with COVID. There's been a lot with the hurricane. There's been, I don't know, just some very interesting readings or understandings of what I mean, you take the bar exam and what's required of you after, and everything has been pretty clear. And I think there's been, from what I've seen, some, if I just head in the sand type stuff, and then it comes
Right.
back and there's a lot of, I didn't know, or I didn't realize that, X, Y, and Z was applicable to me. So it's very helpful to have some general guidance on
And
that.
it's something that Lauren can send every time. Like, it was like, this did not
Right.
meet this. And so therefore, if you would like to say why it does or how it falls into one of these, but I love the part 3 examples that generally do not qualify. Once again, you're offered discretion as the exemptions chair, but you know, providing what does not qualify, I think is very key, because we're talking about what does, but then also what doesn't. And I love this. I think it's going to be great for Lauren's staff, just to have that say, like, this is what the exemption committee has looked at. This is what they're looking for. I think it just gives clear guidance. Does anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to ask Tiffany, have there been any close cases where it hasn't really, this guidance hasn't been helpful, or that could be clarified even more? I think this is good, by the way.
Yeah, I'm thinking back on all of them, and I think that the the one that we still have that recently came in that Lauren and I have been going over, it's such a high amount of fees that there was just this sort of like, it's so much that someone has to pay. But at the end of the day, in order to maintain consistency and fairness across the board, regardless of the amount, there is, I think I've even said to Lauren, like, I know what the answer is, and let's just wait until we have this full discussion. I don't think that there's something that's not, anytime I have a question or something, Lauren immediately gets back to me with an answer if I'm unclear on X, Y, or Z fee or whatever it is. And so this just helps streamline the ones that are a little bit on the fence, a little bit more than before, instead of letting it be the committee to go, and sort of feel like you're on the fence and don't necessarily feel like you have. I started putting in, when I first took on this position, I made a spreadsheet that I sent to Lauren with everything in there, and I included my own box of what the reason was. That's helpful to me because I just feel like I need to articulate either way, sometimes why yes or why no. And some of them are very clear. You just put like illness or whatever it is. And some are a little bit where I felt like if I'm unable to articulate why, that it might not be the right decision. And I've felt this is putting all of that into the language. And I think it's all encompassing, and if anything changes, I'm happy to update the board. But Lauren and I get some fun ones, and by the time they get to me, I think that it's been an interesting route on the way to me already from Lauren and her staff.
I love it. And I think too, we can always treat this as a working doc. I mean, it was so hard whenever I called, like Tiffany and I, when I was passing it over to her, I was just kind of like, hey, generally, this is kind of what it looks like, so this is really great for future exemptions chair individuals who are voluntold for this position. And, I see this as a working doc. So, if something comes up and y'all are like, hey, there's something else that, oh yeah, we forgot about this, that y'all can make those edits and we can look at them. But I think this is a great first draft.
Yeah, at least something that comes up more frequently than not. I think there's always going to be that random situation that I think whoever's in the position's just going to have to work through, and that's just going to be part of their position. But I think if things start to come up more often than not, then that could be something that we could add to at a later point.
I think it looks great. Does anybody have any other questions or thoughts about it? And do we need a vote to approve this? All right. Yes. So is there a motion?
I'll move to approve it.
Paul, second. Serena?
Second.
All right. Any uneasiness or readiness? Okay. Any other thoughts? All right. All in favor? of the
Aye,
motion?
for sure.
Definitely me. Any opposed? All right, the ayes has it and the motion is approved. So great work, guys. All right, any additional discussion or business? I know I already did the resolution that would have been in there, so. Anything else from anybody else?
I just want to say thank you for scheduling these way ahead of time so we could make sure we were here. Certainly noted and appreciated.
I do my best. And thank you, Lauren, for accommodating as well, my crazy schedule. So thank you all for all that I literally just got back from Indonesia at 4 o'clock yesterday. So I was like, Lauren, I'm out of pocket for 2 weeks, baby. You're going to have to.
I know. I was like, I think I saw that you were on the airplane like 2 seconds ago.
Exactly.
Pretty sure.
I'm struggling. But thank you guys for your due diligence and everything, and on being in attendance, and all the work for this committee is fantastic. So our next meeting will likely be in either January or February, just to give you guys time to see what's going on with the late fee stuff. I don't like to meet just to meet. You know, I mean, I want us to have something, so we'll play with it and see where we are. But I think that's it for us. So, you know, we like to keep it quick, and y'all are always on point. And so I wish y'all a happy holiday if I do not see you all. And thank you again for your service. We'll be in touch if we're needed for something emergent, but hopefully we won't. Lauren, Nicole, thank you always for your excellent work that you do behind the scenes. We greatly appreciate you. So anything else that we need to address?
I think that's it.
At 1:10 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.